Check, 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 check. Okay, we're good. All right, we're good. We got mic. We got audio. We got audio in this piece. All right. We're on Deuteronomy. Deuteronomy 6. The Great Commandment. Audio's good. What's up, HB Nubcraft and CSAL? Always the first two in here. Deuteronomy 6. We're going to be the Great Commandment. This is separate from the 10 Commandments. Yesterday we went in chapter 5, we went over the 10 Commandments again. Now we're going to hear the Great Commandment. But we're going to get some warnings on disobedience and blessings of obedience. But then we're going to hear about Israel's disobedience yet again, Israel's rebellion at Horeb. We'll probably wrap up with that. I'd like to get to chapter 11, maybe get through chapter 11 today. Maybe. Blessing and a curse. Serve the Lord thy God. So, oh, y'all are chatting it up. Buenos dias, my N-word. Broski Bear stopped by the other day. Broski Bear's come by a few times lately. He's back in the loop. Bible Talk with CSAL? What are you, starting a YouTube show? That sounds like a YouTube channel. Does Lord Bibby still pop through? Occasionally. Usually he'll come through on the weekends when I've been live for like 15 hours. He'll come in like the last hour. I am Broski with the Moski. Broski with the Moski. Why was he in YouTube prison? All right, guys. As you all know, I'm not a preacher. I'm not a teacher. I'm just a reader. We're just reading. Reading and learning. Learning and reading. You did start a YouTube channel? Let me see this. I don't believe you. You got dang video. You got a video up here. Dang. Oh, snap. We're going to have to do a CSAL video review. Can I review it right now? My tween Bible and a short verse. What's tween Bible mean? What does that mean? Subscribe. Oh, you just got 29 subscribers. Why didn't you tell me about this? How am I not the first subscriber? What are you talking about? No? Oh, too bad. You made it public. We're going to wait till Friday or Saturday night when there's a lot of people here. And then we're going to review it. Not yet. Preteen is a tween? My tween. My tween Bible. Preteen Bible and a short verse. You got shorts on here. See, I got some shorts. No longer slaves. Hold on a second. Rid a tick.
Romans 8:13 says, "For if you live according to the flesh, you will die. But if by the Spirit you put to death the deeds of the body, you will live. For as many as are led by the Spirit of God, these are sons of God. For you did not receive the spirit of bondage again to fear, but you received the spirit of adoption. For if you live according to the flesh, you will die. But if by the Spirit you put to death the deeds of the body. The only way that we can overcome sin and resist temptation is through the Holy Spirit, by the Spirit of God living in us, not through our own strength, but it's through the Spirit of God.
Nice. Now I see what you mean by tween Bible. Your Bible is like one of them teeny study Bibles. Has it got pictures? Is that what you mean by tween Bible? It's like is it one of the woman Bibles with all the different colors and stuff? Look at how she highlights. Girls are funny. Women are funny. They get all like decorative with their highlighting. I got different color highlights in my Bible, but it doesn't mean anything. It just means I just had a different highlighter in my hand at the time. But girls like have this color means this and this color means this. I've seen some TikToks and YouTube shorts where they got like 18 different colors and there's arrows connecting things and underlines and different symbols that represent different things. I don't got all that. I just got stars with notes at the bottom. I got notes and stars. And my notes are like giants. And then it lists all the different types of giants. No, not all of them are like that. Sometimes I write the Hebrew words of stuff at the bottom. Melaka means labor. And this one says no sex out of wedlock. No sex out of wedlock. Wow. Tell me what you think later, though. What is this link? Is this linked to the video? I'm looking at your channel. I can see the videos. Or is this an unreleased video? Okay, well, just so you know, you can't keep changing your name every week now. Now you got a channel. Guy lights. Yeah, I use guy lighters. Seasal sells seashells by the seashore. I did my first interview. Oh, is this the interview? Oh, but is this like a private? Well, hold on. Because once I close the stream, I'm not going to have it anymore. The Zealot's Den. Dude, how do people be getting on interviews? Nobody asked me to do an interview. When I ask people to do interviews, they don't ever do the interviews. They don't ever want to show up. How come nobody's inviting me on no podcasts or no interviews? They're scared. That's what it is. They're scared. Okay, I'll watch it later. But you can't keep changing your name now. You got to leave your name Bible Talk with Seasal. All right. And you're going to have more subscribers than I do if you stick to just one topic, Bible Talk, and you're a pretty lady talking about the Bible. You're going to have more subscribers than I do in a year. Watch. I bet you. Me, on the other hand, I'll be cooking, doing a product review, going camping, yelling at people at a protest, talking about politics, debating somebody, doing the Bible, putting together Legos, reading a book, drawing a picture. No consistency. It's a mess. Oh, she changing her. Oh, she changing her name. She can't change her name anymore. She has a legit channel now. It's a Catholic podcast. I want to talk to a Catholic. All right. All right. Enough of that. Enough promoting CSAL. But seriously, if you just do that stuff, just do Bible study stuff and talk about the Bible, you'll have more subscribers than me in a year. Watch. But just, well, you already know. You know about the simps. Oh, the simps gonna come. Oh, the simps gonna show up in force, CSAL. Upload like once a week. Well, if you're consistent and you have a day and you put out a video once a week on that day and stay consistent with it, it'll grow. But the simps gonna come. Just let you know. And they're gonna be nice. They're gonna come in nice. They're gonna be like, wow, I really love how you teach us about the Bible. I really love hearing from a strong Hispanic woman about her Bible. They're going to be real nice, extra nice. Talk to me. I'm Catholic. Talk to me. You ain't never came on no panel. Invite me on a dang podcast. All right, let's get into this. Deuteronomy 6. I'm not a preacher. I'm not a teacher. Let no man teach you. I'm not here to teach you nothing. Maybe you could try to teach me something, but you can't. But you can tell me stuff, and if it makes sense, I might learn something. Is it a diverse channel? Okay. Chapter 6, Deuteronomy, chapter 6. Now these are the commandments, the statutes, and the judgments. I have this highlighted, which means, see, orange means that at some point I talked about it on my Monday night show. Blue means that I lost my orange highlighter, so I got a blue highlighter instead. Orange just means that I covered this a while ago. Okay. Now these are the commandments, the statutes, and the judgments which the Lord your God commanded to teach you, that ye might do them in the land whither ye go to possess it. Blah. I got to get warmed up a little bit. Female simps. They usually hang out for a little while and then they disappear. Your Hispanic is already diverse. Yes, it's an ethnic channel. You should make enchiladas while reading the Bible. I would watch that. I would watch that for sure. Okay. That thou mightest fear the Lord thy God, to keep all his statutes and his commandments, which I commanded thee, thou and thy son and thy son's sons, all the days of thy life, and that thy days may be prolonged. I think the reason this is highlighted is because I was talking about it when I did the 10 Commandments episode a long time ago. Hear therefore, O Israel, and observe to do it, that it may be well with thee, and that ye may increase mightily, as the Lord God of thy fathers hath promised thee, in the land that floweth with milk and honey. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord, and thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thine heart, and with all thine soul, and with all thy might. Hear, O Israel, some translations will say listen. When it says hear and love, it's not just talking about let it go in your ear and hear what he's saying. It's saying obey, listen. Like, you know how women will say, I know you're hearing me, but you're not listening to me. You got to listen. You can't just hear, you got to listen. I think listen is a better word here. Some translations will use listen, because hearing, you know, Sometimes people hear things that goes in one ear and out the other. You got to listen and love the Lord thy God with all thine heart and with all thine soul and with all thy might. It's not just some emotional love, you know. Let me actually look this up. I want to see if it's, well, agape would be Greek, or is it Latin? I think it's Greek. Let me see what the Hebrew word for love is here. Love, Deuteronomy 6:5. Oh, there's going to be so many loves. There's going to be a ton of loves. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. Love. I almost open it up straight to love because Lord and love, there's like lots of pages of Lord and lots of pages of love because God is love. Lord's, lordship, lose, loved. Oh, there's not as much love as I expected. It's only like one page. Love, Deuteronomy 6:5. Love, Deuteronomy 6:5. 157. 157. What is this section? Huh. 184. 157. Yeah, see. So in Hebrew it's Ahab. Or it's pronounced Ahab. Ahab, love. Which could mean friends, like, sexual affection, love. Because remember, Hebrew has much less words. But in the Greek, in the Bible, there's 7 different words used for love, or 7 different Greek words that all mean love, and they're different types of love. And then actually in Greek, there's actually 12 words that mean love. Whereas in Hebrew, there's one all-encompassing word. So you have to use context clues. Spectrum of affection. Sounds like a rap song. 24. I don't know what that last part means, and I'm not going to say it because you might be casting some sort of spell on me, Leah Parsons. I don't know what that means. You're very cryptic. I don't want to be doing no incantations. HP Nubcraft, you don't need to copy and paste from Google, buddy. I got the concordance right here. I'm going to look it up. I could Google it. I'm in front of a computer. I could Google it. Ahab. Ahab. Meaning to love as a verb, which encompasses a broad. You're copying and pasting. I have the computer. Okay. A broad spectrum of affection. Okay. Verse 6. Hold on, that's important. That's repeated a lot. Love the Lord thy God with all your heart and all your soul and all your might. That's repeated multiple times throughout the Bible and in the New Testament repeatedly. And these words which I command thee this day shall be in thine heart, and thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, and shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thine house, and when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou riseth up. And thou shalt bind them for a sign upon thine hand, and they shall be as frontlets between thine eyes. And thou shalt write them upon the posts of thy house and on thy gates. And it shall be, when the Lord thy God shall have brought thee into the land which he sware unto thy fathers, Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, to give thee great and goodly cities which thou buildest not, and houses full of all good things which thou fieldest not, and wells digged which thou diggest not, vineyards and olive trees which thou plantest not, when thou shalt have eaten and be full. So they're going to get this land. They don't even got to build the houses. They don't got to build the walls. They don't got to fill the houses. They don't got to plant the vineyards. Nothing. It's all going to be there. God's just going to give it to them. Now, granted, that means they're going to have to wipe out the previous population. But that's based. Sometimes you got to do a little I shouldn't say that. I was about to say something that might get me in trouble. Anyway, and thou shalt blah, 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 blah. And it shall be when the Lord thy God shall have brought thee into the land, which I already read all this. Where was I? Verse 12. Then beware, lest thou forget the Lord, which brought thee forth. Oh, and also I want to mention, isn't it interesting? I like this. Talking about the children. Thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children. You'll hear people saying things like, I've heard Christians say this. I've heard Christians say, I don't teach my kid about the Bible and I don't take my kid to church and stuff like that because I want them to decide on their own. I want them to, be free to make their own choices about what path they want to take. And then I've heard atheists who say it's pretty much the same thing. I don't teach my kid that God's not real because I want them to come to their own conclusions, which I think is BS. Just by the way they live and the way they speak, their kids are going to see that they don't believe in God. But I think this is wrong because certain types of people are after the children. Teachers in public schools, people who dress up in strange outfits and go to the libraries. They're after the children. Oh, they going to indoctrinate the children. And this is why I always say kids are inevitably indoctrinated. Indoctrination is unavoidable. All kids are indoctrinated into something. Indoctrination is not a bad thing. It's the doctrine that could be bad or it could be good. So as parents, you got to indoctrinate your kids into the right way. And that's what verse 7 says. And thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, and shalt talk with them when thou sittest in thine house, and when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up. When you're eating dinner with your kids, when you're walking with your kids, before they go to bed, and when they wake up, you should be teaching them these things. And you don't have to you just do it. You just lead by example, and you just talk and have conversations with them. You don't got to pound it into their head because then they're going to resent it. But that's the things you talk about. You talk about righteous things around and with your kids, and then they're going to be indoctrinated in that because kids are sponges. Sometimes you got to Amalekite some folks. JK, I disavow. I don't. I'm with it. That's a better, I should say that. Yeah. I was going to say, let's just say cleanse. I was going to say sometimes you have to do some cleansing. You gotta cleanse the area a little bit, if you catch my drift. Then beware lest thou forget the Lord, which brought thee forth out of the land of Egypt. Yep. From the house of bondage. Thou shalt fear the Lord thy God and serve him, and shalt swear by his name. You got to serve him, Seasal. What's that mean? Are we still slaves to God? Because I guess Seasal would say no. And that's fine. They had it coming. That's right. Thou shalt fear the Lord thy God and serve him, and shalt swear by his name. And shalt swear by his name. Okay, then that doesn't mean what we think it means. You don't take the Lord's name in vain. You don't say, I swear to blank. I don't swear to G. You don't say GD. But swear by his name. Maybe that's kind of like when you swear on the Bible, when you put your hand on the Bible and you swear on the Bible. You're not, I don't know. So if somebody asks you something, you say, I swear, I'm just going to say it. Forgive me, God. I don't know if I'm allowed to do this or not. But if you say, I swear to God, I did not do that. Is that a bad thing? Or is that okay? Because it says, swear by his name. You shall swear by his name. Mary said, here I am, the handmaiden of the Lord. Yes, Apostle Paul called himself a servant of Christ. Definitely a slave of God. Oh, okay. All right. You're making a promise before God to tell the truth in that instance. Okay. But I think some people use it a little too willy-nilly, And if you're lying, usually the type of person, when somebody says, I swear to God, they're usually lying, like when they say that. And that would probably that would probably be a very bad thing to do. If you're lying and you're swearing to God, I would not recommend you do that. Don't test those waters. Okay. For the Lord thy God is a jealous God among you, lest the anger of the Lord thy God be kindled against thee and destroy thee from off the face of the earth. Ye shall not tempt the Lord your God as ye tempted him in Massah. Ye shall diligently keep the commandments of the Lord your God, and his testimonies, and his statutes, which he hath commanded thee. And thou shalt do that which is right and good in the sight of the Lord, that it may be well with thee, and that thou mayest go in and possess the good land which the Lord sware unto thy fathers, to cast out all thine enemies from before thee, as the Lord hath spoken. And when thy son asketh thee in time to come, saying, what mean the testimonies and the statutes and the judgments which the Lord our God hath commanded you? When your son comes and asks you about this stuff, then thou shalt say unto thy son, we were Pharaoh's bondsmen in Egypt, and the Lord brought us out of Egypt with a mighty hand. And the Lord showed signs and wonders, great and sore, upon Egypt, upon Pharaoh, upon all his household before our eyes. And he brought us out from thence, that he might bring us in to give us the land which he sware unto our fathers. And the Lord commanded us to do all these statutes to fear the Lord our God, for our good always, that he might preserve us alive as it is at this day. And it shall be our righteousness if we observe to do all these commandments before the Lord our God, as he hath commanded us. So teach your children. Share the story. And that's the great commandment. At least that's what the top of the page, at the top of the page, how it gives you like the little summary of the page, the great commandment. So there's the 10 commandments, but then the great commandment is tell your kids about this. Dang. I never thought about that. The great commandment. Now, it doesn't say it's the great commandment in here. It just says it at the top of the page. So that's like somebody's commentary or somebody's summary of what it says. But I think that's kind of powerful that after the 10 commandments, it says, hear and observe to do this, Israel. Love the Lord your God with all thine heart, with all thine soul, and with all thy might. That's the great commandment. But then right after that, tell your kids about it. Tell it to your sons. Tell it to your children constantly. That's pretty powerful. I like that. I like that. All right. Well, doesn't it say not to take it in vain? So if you do, you better mean it. Maybe that's wrong, though. I think that seems right. So it's like in court, in court, you swear before God when you're giving testimony, and then bearing false witness on your brother. One of the things that specifically for sure applies to is in a legal situation, because this is a book of laws. And true, Josh, that's a good point. I hadn't thought about that. Yeah, me neither. I just thought about it. It's pretty neat. And the way it's laid out, it literally goes 10 commandments, then love the Lord your God, and then teach your kids about it in the very next verse. That's pretty cool. So yeah, I think if you're like being sworn into something, or if you're in court, or if it's a very serious situation, maybe it's acceptable to swear before God. But if you're lying, you better not be playing around with that. Don't be saying I swear to God if you're lying, because that's almost blasphemy. That's taking the Lord's name in vain, I would think. All right, chapter 7. When the Lord thy God shall bring thee into the land whither thou goest to possess it, and hath cast out many nations before thee, the Hittites, and the Girgashites, and the Amorites, and the Canaanites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mightier than thou. And when the Lord thy God shall deliver them before thee, thou shalt smite them, and utterly destroy them. Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor show mercy unto them. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son. For they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods. So will the anger of the Lord be kindled against you, and destroy thee suddenly. And thus shall ye deal with them. Ye shall destroy their altars, and break down their images, and cut down their groves, and burn their graven images with fire. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all that are upon the face of the earth. The Lord did not set his love upon you, nor choose you, because ye were more in number than any people, for ye were the fewest of all people. But because the Lord loved you, and because he would keep the oath which he had sworn unto your fathers, hath the Lord brought you out with a mighty hand, and redeemed you out of the house of bondmen, from the head of Pharaoh, king of Egypt. Boo, Pharaoh, boo. Know therefore that the Lord thy God, he is God, the faithful God, which keepeth covenant and mercy with them that love him, and keep his commandments to 1,000 generations, and repayeth them that hate him to their face, to destroy them. He will not be slack to him that hateth him. He will repay him to his face. Deep. That's based. Repayeth them that hate him to their face, to destroy them. He will not be slack to him that hateth him. He will repay him to his face. God's like, oh, I'm going to say it to your face. Oh, I'm going to say it to your face. God ain't scared. God ain't talking behind your back. God's going to say it to your face. Oh, you're going to find out. Thou shalt therefore keep the commandments and the statutes and the judgments which I command thee this day to do them. Wherefore it shall come to pass, if ye hearken to these judgments, and keep and do them, that the Lord thy God shall keep unto thee the covenant and the mercy which he sware unto thy fathers. And he will love thee and bless thee and multiply thee. He will also bless the fruit of thy womb. Fruit of the womb. Fruit of thy womb. And the fruit of thy land, thy corn and thy wine and thine oil, and increase of thy kine. Increase of thy kine? Kine. It's not kind, it's Kine. Later, HP. And the flocks of thy sheep in the land which he sware unto thy fathers to give thee. Thou shalt be blessed above all people. There shall not be male or female barren among you or among your cattle. Oh, they having the babies. And the Lord will take away from thee all sickness, and will put none of the evil diseases of Egypt, which thou knowest, upon thee, but will lay them upon all them that hate thee. And thou shalt consume all the people which the Lord thy God shall deliver thee. Thine eye shall have no pity upon them, neither shalt thou serve their gods, for that will be a snare unto thee. If thou shalt say in thine heart, These nations are more than I, how can I dispossess them? Thou shalt not be afraid of them, but shalt well remember what the Lord thy God did unto Pharaoh and unto all Egypt. The great temptations which thine eyes saw, and the signs and the wonders, and the mighty hand, and the stretched out arm, whereby the Lord thy God brought thee out, so shall the Lord thy God do unto all the people of whom thou art afraid. Moreover, the Lord thy God will send the hornets among them until they that are left and hide themselves from thee be destroyed. Hold on. Moreover, the Lord thy God will send the hornet among them until they that are left and hide themselves from thee be destroyed. Thou shalt not be affrighted of them at them, for the Lord thy God is among you, a mighty God and terrible. Terrible in a good way. And the Lord, terrible for them. And the Lord thy God, that terrible there doesn't mean what we in the modern times think of as the word terrible. It just means powerful, great power, might. And the Lord thy God will put out those nations before thee by little and little. Thou mayest not consume them at once, lest the beasts of the field increase upon thee. Lest the beasts of the field increase upon thee. So if they killed them all at once, the beasts of the field increase upon thee. What does that mean? Hold on, you guys know where my mind's going. Dinosaurs. No, hold on. Hold on. What is this? Deuteronomy 7:22. He says, "Kill them little by little, so that the beasts of the wilderness don't increase upon thee." Let me read it in Deuteronomy 7:22. God will gradually drive out the nations before the Israelites, not all at once, to prevent the land from becoming overcome with wild animals, and to allow Israelites to gradually conquer and settle the land. That's what I figured it meant, but preventing overpopulation of wild animals. The primary reason for the gradual approach is to prevent the land from becoming overrun with wild animals. If the Canaanites were immediately destroyed, their cities would be empty, and the land would be left unpopulated, allowing wild animals to multiply and become a threat to the Israelites. Yeah, that makes sense. If they just wiped out all 7 nations and they didn't have enough population to fill all of those houses and all of that land, then it would become overgrown and it would go back to the earth. The animals would take over. So instead, one at a time, they go into a nation, wipe it out, live there for a little while. Once it starts to get overpopulated, because they're breeding like a mug. These Israelites be breeding, baby. They be having them babies. Lots of babies. Then, once it starts to get a little too crowded, we move on to the next one and we spread out. And then we move on to the next one and we spread out. Makes sense. Makes sense. Parallel in Exodus. This is a similar concept to what God told Moses in Exodus 23:30, where God stated, "I will gradually drive out the Amorites before you and destroy them." Nice. God told them to take over little by little, inch by inch, by the yard. It's hard by the inch. What a cinch. Never stare up the stairs. Just step up the steps, little by little, inch by inch. Growing in Christ takes work every day. Reading your Bible, learning to pray, build godly habits, seek help divine. Reach for the goal one step at a time, little by little, inch by inch, by the yard. It's hard by the inch. What a cinch. Never stare up the stairs. Just step up the steps, little by little, inch by inch. Uh, I learned that song in Christian school. Okay. But the Lord thy God shall deliver them unto thee, and shall destroy them with a mighty destruction until they be destroyed. So you're saying you're going to destroy them, God. Is that what you're saying? That's a funny verse. But the Lord thy God shall deliver them unto thee, and shall destroy them with a mighty destruction until they be destroyed. He wants to make it very clear. There's going to be destruction involved. It's going to be a lot of destruction involved. And he shall deliver their kings into thine hand, and thou shalt destroy, more destruction, their name from under heaven. There shall no man be able to stand before thee until thou have destroyed them. The graven images of their gods shall ye burn with fire. Thou shalt not desire the silver or gold that is on them, nor take it unto thee, lest thou be snared therein, for it is an abomination to the Lord thy God. Neither shalt thou bring an abomination into thine house, lest thou be a cursed thing like it. But thou shalt utterly detest it, and thou shalt utterly abhor it, for it is a cursed thing. So you're saying we're going to do some destroying. All the commandments which I command thee, chapter 8, all the commandments which I command thee this day shall ye observe to do, that ye may live and multiply, and go in and possess the land which the Lord sware unto your fathers. And thou shalt remember all the way which the Lord thy God led thee these 40 years in the wilderness, to humble thee, and to prove thee, to know what was in thine heart, whether thou wouldest keep his commandments or no. And he humbled thee, and suffered thee to hunger, and fed thee with manna, which thou knewest not, neither did thy fathers know, that he might make thee know what man doth not live by bread only, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of the Lord doth man live. Man cannot live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of the Lord doth man live. That's in the New Testament. That's repeated in the New Testament. Does not live by bread alone. The raiment waxed not old upon thee, neither did thy foot swell these 40 years. Thou shalt also consider in thine heart that as a man chasteneth his son, so the Lord thy God chasten thee. Therefore thou shalt keep the commandments of the Lord thy God, to walk in his ways and to fear him. As a man chasteneth his son. We need more of that nowadays. Nowadays there's so many fatherless homes and so many weak dads. People say, "Oh, I don't like to discipline my kids too roughly." Little kids grow up to be betas. You need to chasten your son as God chastened Israel. For the Lord thy God bringeth thee into a good land, a land of brooks of water, of fountains and depths that spring out of valleys and hills, a land of wheat and barley and vines and fig trees and pomegranates, a land of oil olive and honey. It says oil olive. I just read it backwards. You usually don't hear it. It said oil olive. A land wherein thou shalt eat bread without scarceness. Thou shalt not lack anything in it. A land whose stones are iron, and out of whose hills thou mayest dig brass. When thou hast eaten and art full, then thou shalt bless the Lord thy God for the good land which he hath given thee. Beware that thou forget not the Lord thy God, in not keeping his commandments and his judgments and his statutes which I command thee this day. Lest when thou hast eaten and art full, and hast built goodly houses and dwelt therein, and when thy herds and thy flocks multiply, and thy silver and thy gold is multiplied, and all that thou hast is multiplied, then thine heart be lifted up, and thou forget the Lord thy God, which brought thee forth out of the land of Egypt from the house of bondage. then thine heart be lifted up, and thou forget the Lord thy God, who led thee through. I think he's saying that once they get comfortable, they're going to forget God, which was mentioned a few chapters ago that would happen. Who led thee through the great and terrible wilderness, wherein were fiery serpents and scorpions and drought, where there was no water, who brought thee forth water out of the rock of flint, who led thee in the wilderness with manna, which thy fathers knew not, that he might humble thee, and that he might prove thee to do thee good at thy latter end. And thou say in thine heart, mine power and the might of mine hand hath gotten me this wealth. But thou shalt remember the Lord thy God, for it is he that giveth thee power to get wealth, that he may establish his covenant, which he sware unto thy fathers, as it is this day. And it shall be, if thou do at all forget the Lord thy God, and walk after other gods, and serve them, and worship them, I testify against you this day, that ye shall surely perish. As the nations which the Lord destroyeth before your face, so shall ye perish, because ye would not be obedient unto the voice of the Lord your God. Obey. Amen. Beware that thou forget not. Yep. And don't take pride in your own work, in your own successes. When we succeed and when we're blessed, it's not our doing, it's God doing it. The world has successful people too. Satan will make people successful, and that's not their own doing either. Like Bill Gates or something. He's rich, he's powerful, and that's not his own doing either. That's the world, that's Satan giving him that wealth to use it for evil, use him as a tool for evil. In the same way, God will bless us and give the growth. The seed gets planted and God gives the growth. All those things are blessings or curses. And also, is Bill Gates really successful? What is it to gain the whole world but lose your soul? Does he have a soul? Probably not. His soul's probably already rotten. And Bill Gates is just an example. We can think of many examples of rich, powerful people who are soulless demons. They ain't gonna make it when their body drops. Man, the war shouldn't stop till the body rot. All right. Chapter 9. We're going quickly through these chapters. It's okay. We're going to get through 11. It's actually moving pretty quick. I thought this was going to be a slower part, but this is pretty interesting stuff. Chapter 9. Hear, O Israel, thou art to pass. Oh, this is going to be Israel's about to rebel at Horeb. How are you going to rebel right outside? Like, it just blows my mind how they just keep rebelling. Hear, O Israel, thou art to pass over Jordan this day, to go in to possess nations greater and mightier than thyself, cities great and fenced up to heaven, a people great and tall, the children of the Anakims, whom thou knowest, and of whom thou hast heard say, who can stand before the children of Anak? I thought it said Anaki, but it's an exclamation point. Anak. They're giants. Remember, those are one of the tribes of giants. Understand, therefore, this day that the Lord thy God is he which goeth over before thee. As a consuming fire he shall destroy them, and he shall bring them down before thy face. So shalt thou drive them out and destroy them quickly, as the Lord hath said unto thee. Speak not thou in thine heart. After that, the Lord thy God hath cast them out from before thee, saying, for my righteousness the Lord hath brought me in to possess this land. But for the wickedness of these nations the Lord doth drive them out from before thee. Not for thy righteousness, or for the uprightness of thine heart, dost thou go to possess their land, but for the wickedness of these nations the Lord thy God doth drive them out from before thee. and that he may perform the word which the Lord sware unto thy fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. It says this isn't happening because the Israelites are a perfectly righteous, amazing, great, righteous nation. That's not why it's happening, because we know they're not. A lot of times they aren't. But because God swore to Abraham and Isaac and Jacob that he would give it to them, and because of the wickedness of the other nations. So this isn't, God's not giving them this land because they're awesome people. God's giving them this land because their ancestors, their fathers and their fathers' fathers were faithful and they followed him. Even though they weren't perfect and they did a lot of unrighteous things, you know, your righteousness is as filthy rags to God. They're not getting this promised land because they're righteous. They're getting the promised land because it was promised. And they're getting the promised land because wicked men live there, and God wants them to wipe them out. Understand, therefore, that the Lord thy God giveth thee not this good land to possess it for thy righteousness, for thou art a stiff-necked people. See, he even says it again. They're going to reiterate again. God's not giving you this land because you're great people. You're actually kind of jerks. Remember and forget not how thou provoked the Lord thy God to wrath in the wilderness, from the day that thou didst depart out of the land of Egypt until ye came unto this place. Ye have been rebellious against the Lord. So it's just saying over and over again, Israel, don't get big-headed. Don't get a big ego. Don't get cocky. God's not giving you this land because you're amazing, great, perfectly righteous, awesome people. No, you're kind of jerks. You disobeyed God constantly. You're always complaining. He wanted to wipe you out multiple times, but he didn't, because he promised this land to you. And because the people who currently occupy this land are wicked, wicked, evil people. You guys are bad. You guys aren't great people. You're disobedient, complainers, whiners. You know, you dabble with running off with the ladies. Sometimes God had to kill 24,000 of them from a plague because they were running off with the Midianite ladies. You know, you guys aren't, you know, the best thing since sliced bread. But these people are way worse. And God promised your fathers that he would give you this land. So don't get a big head. Also in Horeb, ye provoked the Lord to wrath, so that the Lord was angry with you the Lord was angry with you to have destroyed you. When I was gone up into the mount to receive the tables of stone, even the tables of the covenant which the Lord made with you, then I abode in the mount 40 days and 40 nights. I neither did eat bread nor drink water. And the Lord delivered unto me 2 tables of stone written with the fingers of God, and on them was written according to all the words which the Lord spake with you in the mount out of the midst of the fire in the day of the assembly. And it came to pass at the end of the 40 days and 40 nights that the Lord gave me the 2 tables of stone, even the tables of the covenant. And the Lord said unto me, Arise, get thee down quickly from hence. For thy people which thou hast brought forth out of Egypt have corrupted themselves. They are quickly turned aside out of the way which I commanded them. They have made them a molten image. Furthermore, the Lord spake unto me, saying, I have seen this people, and behold, it is a stiff-necked people. Stiff-necked means hard-headed, stubborn. Let me alone, that I may destroy them and blot out their name from under heaven. And I will make of thee a nation mightier and greater than they. So I turned and came down from the mount, and the mount burned with fire, and the 2 tables of the covenant were in my 2 hands. And I looked, and behold, ye had sinned against the Lord your God, and had made you a molten calf. Ye had turned aside quickly out of the way which the Lord had commanded you. And I took the 2 tables and cast them out of mine 2 hands, and brake them before your eyes. And I fell down before the Lord, as at the first, 40 days and 40 nights. I did neither eat bread nor drink water, because of all your sins which ye sinned in doing wickedly in the sight of the Lord to provoke him to anger. For I was afraid of the anger and hot displeasure, wherewith the Lord was wroth against you to destroy you. But the Lord hearkened unto me at that time also. And the Lord was very angry with Aaron to have destroyed him. And I prayed for Aaron also the same time. So Moses is saying, remember that time that you guys were out there making that molten calf, and I was up on the mountain, and God said, I'm about to wipe them all out and make another nation because these guys are real jerks. And Moses said, please, God, you promised. Remember you promised. Please, God, don't wipe them out. Have mercy. And since Moses interceded on behalf of the Israelites, God showed mercy. Also, at the same time, if I can turn the page, he was going to destroy Aaron too, but Moses interceded. And I took your sin and the calf which ye had made, and burnt it with fire, and stamped it, and ground it very small, even until it was as small as dust. And I cast the dust thereof into the brook that descended out of the mountain. So here it doesn't say that he made them drink it. It just says he cast it in the brook. But in Exodus, he makes them drink it. But this is a recap, so maybe he just left that part out. And at Taberah and at Massa and at Kibroth Hattavah, ye provoked the Lord to wrath. Likewise, when the Lord sent you from Kadesh Barnea, saying, go up and possess the land which I have given you, then ye rebelled against the commandment of the Lord your God, and ye believed him not, nor hearkened to his voice. Ye have been rebellious against the Lord from the day that I knew you. Thus I fell down before the Lord 40 days and 40 nights, as I fell down at the first, because the Lord had said he would destroy you. I prayed therefore unto the Lord and said, O Lord God, destroy not thy people and thine inheritance, which thou hast redeemed through thy greatness, which thou hast brought forth out of Egypt with a mighty hand. Remember thy servants Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Look not unto the stubbornness of this people, nor to their wickedness, nor to their sin. Lest the land which thou broughtest us out say, because the Lord was not able to bring them into the land which he promised them, and because he hated them, he hath brought them out to slay them in the wilderness. Yet they are the people in thine inheritance, which thou broughtest out by thy mighty power and by thy stretched out arm. See, so Moses interceded on behalf of these Israelites who were real jerks. And he makes it clear, God's not giving you the promised land because you're awesome. Because you're not awesome. God's giving you the promised land because he promised it to your fathers who were faithful men. But you are not your fathers. They, Abraham and Isaac and Jacob, I guess. I think Joseph was more base than Jacob. But God promised it to them. And Moses interceded and said, keep your promise, God, because God was about to wipe out all of them. And now Moses is just reminding them, those people in there are wicked. But you guys aren't so hot yourselves, Israel. But God promised to turn you into a great nation and to give you this land, so he's going to give it to you. And he wants to wipe out all of those degens over in there. Chapter 10, the second covenant table. So this is going to replay the... Remember, a lot of Deuteronomy is just recapping all the rest of the Torah up until this point. So now we're recapping the second tablets. When I say tables, it's tablets, tables. It's just a different word for it. At that time, the Lord said unto me, hew thee 2 tables of stone like unto the first, and come up unto me into the mount, and make thee an ark of wood. And I will write on the tables the words that were in the first. This is like this is like Dragon Ball Super. If you don't want to watch the first 100 episodes of Dragon Ball Super, which are very bad animation, very rushed. The animation is horrible for like the first 2 seasons of Dragon Ball Super. If you don't want to watch the first 2 seasons, you can skip it and you can just watch Battle of the Gods movie and Revenge of F movie. This is kind of like what Deuteronomy is. If you didn't read all of Exodus, all of Leviticus, all of Numbers, you could just read Deuteronomy. It's a recap. Bad analogy, I know, but it's a summary. Okay. Because remember when we read about the instructions for the ark to be built, it's like 4 pages, and the tabernacle, it's like 4 pages of blueprints of the ark and the tabernacle and the robes. And it took like 2 days just to get through all the blueprints of how they built this stuff. And now here we get it in a summarized version. And I will write on the tables the words that were in the first tables, which thou breakest, and thou shalt put them in the ark. And I made an ark of shittim wood, and hewed 2 tables of stone like unto the first, and went up into the mount, having the 2 tables in mine hand. And he wrote on the tables, according to the first writing, the 10 commandments, which the Lord spake unto you in the mount out of the midst of the fire in the day of the assembly, and the Lord gave them unto me. And I turned myself and came down from the mount, and put the tables in the ark which I had made. And there they be, as the Lord commanded me. And the children of Israel took their journey from Beeroth of the children of Jachan and Mozerah. There Aaron died, and there he was buried. And Eleazar, his son, ministered in the priest's office in his stead. From thence they journeyed unto Gudgada, and from Gudgoda to Jotbath, a land of rivers and waters. At that time the Lord separated the tribe of Levi to bear the ark of the covenant of the Lord, to stand before the Lord, to minister unto him, and to bless in his name unto this day. Wherefore Levi hath no part nor inheritance with his brethren. The Lord is his inheritance, according as the Lord thy God promised him. And I stayed in the mount according to the first time, 40 days and 40 nights. And the Lord hearkened unto me at that time also, and the Lord would not destroy thee. And the Lord said unto me, Arise, take thy journey before the people, that they may go and possess the land, which I swear unto their fathers to give unto them. And now, Israel, what doth the Lord thy God require of thee, but to fear the Lord thy God, to walk in all his ways, and to love him, and to serve the Lord thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul, the great commandment. To keep the commandments of the Lord and his statutes, which I command thee this day for thy good. Behold, the heaven and the heaven of heavens is the Lord's thy God. The earth also with all that therein is. Only the Lord had a delight only the Lord had a delight in thy fathers to love them, and he chose their seed after them, even you above all people as it is this day. Circumcise therefore the foreskin of your heart, and be no more stiff-necked. Stop being hard-headed and stubborn. For the Lord your God is God of gods, and the Lord of lords, a great God, a mighty and a terrible, which regardeth not persons nor taketh reward. He doth execute the judgment of the fatherless and widow, and loveth the stranger in giving him food and raiment. Love ye therefore the stranger, for ye were strangers in the land of Egypt. Thou shalt fear the Lord thy God, him shalt thou serve, and to him shalt thou cleave, and swear by his name. He is thy praise, and he is thy God. that hath done for thee these great and terrible things which thine eyes have seen. Thy fathers went down into Egypt with 70 persons. That's 70 people. And now the Lord thy God hath made thee as the stars of heaven for multitude. Now there's like more than 600,000 of them. There was 67. Now there's 600,000. 67 when your fathers went down into Egypt. That's when Joseph and his brother's family came into Egypt. There was only 67 of them. And then generations passed, they become slaves. When they take the Exodus out of Egypt and they do the first census, there's 602,000, I believe. And then they wander in the wilderness for 40 years, and then they do the second census, and there's 608,000. Might have those numbers backwards, actually. I think there was less. There was less in the second census, but all of them got wiped. None of the second census were the same as the first census. At least none of the war age men, which means they completely replaced their population in 40 years. And that's with wars and the plague that wiped out 24,000 of them. They were able to completely replenish their population. Now, once they have the land of milk and honey and they have some peacetime, they're going to multiply very quickly. Like the sands on the shore or the stars in the sky. What are you doing, Echo? I'm going to read chapter 11 today just because it kind of, so like 1 through 3 is kind of a section of Deuteronomy. Then 4 through 11 is a section of Deuteronomy. So we're going to read 11 today so that we kind of wrap up this section. And then after 11, once we go into 12, so see, this has been the recap of Exodus 11 through like 20 something is like a recap of Leviticus. So what's up, Robert? Afternoon, morning. Everybody go subscribe to Seesow's channel. Look at this. Seesow made a channel. We're going to review one of her videos when we have a lot of people watching. That's right. Why is it at Seesow H7K? Haha, Seesow. I'm going to get everybody to subscribe. All right. What's up, King? Better late than never, you guys who are just pulling up. All right. One more chapter. And then I'm going to, I mean, we've done 5 chapters already. Usually I do 5 a day, but we're going quickly through this. This is not this is actually, I like Deuteronomy because it recaps everything and it's much quicker. It's moving much quicker, recapping everything. I just really want to get to Joshua. Subbed up. Nice. All right. So that means Seesaw just hit 30 subscribers. Let's go. I told her she's going to have more subscribers than me in a year. All right. Subbed and hit the bell. That's right. Okay. Chapter 11. Serve the Lord thy God. What is this? What are you doing? What are you doing over there? Dumping on the wall? Come here. Butthead. Who's your butthead? I'm gonna go to bed soon. He wants to go to bed because he gets to cuddle. He likes to cuddle. No, he doesn't sleep in my bed. He just lays in my bed until he gets tired of me and then he gets off the bed. It's funny. He won't sleep in the bed, even though it's a huge bed. But he'll lay there until I get tired of petting him, and then he'll jump out of the bed. Subbed, liked, one vid. What's up? Are you crazy? Chair time. All right, chapter 11. So far, you guys missed the best part. I think was we talked about how right after the 10 Commandments, it talks about the great commandment. And the great commandment is to love the Lord thy God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your might. And the next verse after that, it talks about teaching your children this. When they wake up, before they go to sleep, when you eat with them, when you walk with them, teach these things to your children. So the great commandment is not only to love God along with nothing else, with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your might. Seek him in his right way along with nothing else, but to teach it to your children. I think that was the big takeaway, the big deep revelation that we had here today. But now I'm going to read chapter 11 and we're going to wrap up. You've been here listening? Nice. Okay. You feet stank. You feet stink? Is that why he lays in my bed? Because my feet stink? Is that what you're saying? I know dogs like stinky feet. Ain't that right? Yeah. Okay. Chapter 11. All right. Therefore, thou shalt love the Lord thy God and keep his charge and his statutes and his judgments and his commandments always. And know ye this day, for I speak not with your children which have not known, and which have not seen the chastisement of the Lord your God, his greatness, his mighty hand, and his stretched out arms, and his miracles, and his acts which he did in the midst of Egypt unto Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, and unto all his land. And what he did unto the army of Egypt, unto their horses and to their chariots, how he made the water of the Red Sea to overflow them as they pursued after you, and how the Lord had destroyed them unto this day. We played a video the other night on the Saturday night stream. We were watching some videos about dinosaurs and whales found in deserts and fossil record, how the flood proves fossil record proves the flood. And one of the videos we watched was talking about how they found chariot wheels and chariot axles in a trail in a path at the bottom of the Red Sea, right by this beach, which is surrounded by mountains. There's a clearing and a beach, so it comes down into a beach clearing that's surrounded by mountains. And this part of the Red Sea is the only part. Most of the Red Sea like goes real deep and then up and then real deep again and then up. But this part has like a gradual rise and a flat part and then a gradual down. And it's the only place, if the water weren't there, that you could cross, that you could walk across or ride horses across or camels or whatever they had. Any other part that would have dried up wouldn't have worked. And in the Bible, it talks about how they come down onto a beach, which is big enough for like 600,000 people, and that there's mountains all around them. And there's a real place at the Red Sea that matches all these descriptions. And at that place, scuba divers have gone down and found chariot wheels along the path. So, evidence for the parting of the Red Sea. And then, of course, I think it was Freddie or something was like, no, or no, somebody was playing devil's advocate, and they're like, well, maybe a boat crashed. I think maybe it was King who said that. They're like, what if a boat crashed that had chariots on it? Like they're just shipping chariots across the Red Sea. I mean, I guess that is a possibility, but I like to think that it's evidence of the Red Sea parting. And what he did unto you in the wilderness, until ye came unto this place, and what he did unto Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, the son of Reuben, how the earth opened her mouth and swallowed them up, and their households, and their tents, and all the substance that was in their possession in the midst of all Israel. So people would be like, well, maybe that was a sinkhole. It was just a sinkhole. No, because fire came up from it. Well, maybe it was a volcano. No. It was God opening a pit to Sheol. Whoa, what the hell? Somebody throwing something at my window? Boat sunk and chariot wheels fell. Wasn't me, but definitely someone in chat. No, that's not what happened. All right. But your eyes have seen all the great acts of the Lord which he did. Therefore shall ye keep all the commandments which I command you this day, that ye may be strong and go in and possess the land, whither ye go to possess it, and that ye may prolong your days in the land which the Lord sware unto your fathers, to give unto them and to their seed a land that floweth with milk and honey. For the land whither thou goest in to possess it is not as the land of Egypt, from whence ye came out, where thou sowest thy seed, and waterest it with thy foot, as a garden of herbs. But the land whither ye go to possess it is a land of hills and valleys, and drinketh water of the rain of heaven, a land which the Lord thy God careth for. The eyes of the Lord thy God are always upon it, from the beginning of the year even unto the end of the year. And it shall come to pass, if ye shall hearken diligently unto my commandments, which I command you this day, to love the Lord your God, and to serve him with all your heart and with all your soul, then I will give you the rain of your land in his due season, the first rain and the latter rain, that thou mayest gather in thy corn and thy wine and thine oil. And I will send grass in thy fields for thy cattle, that thou mayest eat and be full. Take heed to yourselves that your heart be not deceived, and ye turn aside and serve other gods and worship them. And then the Lord's wrath be kindled against you, and he shut up the heaven, that there be no rain, and that the land yield not her fruit, unless ye perish quickly from off the good land which the Lord giveth you. Therefore shall ye lay up these my words in your heart and in your soul, and bind them for a sign upon your hand, that they may be as frontlets between your eyes. And ye shall frontlets between your eyes. I've heard some people actually think that they take this like as literal as like they make Bible necklaces that have like miniature Bible pages, and some Jews will keep the mezuzah that they put on their door. Some of them just look like decorative metal things, but some of them are glass, and you can see they actually have a little scroll inside of them. And that scroll, I think it has the 10 Commandments on it, or it has something on it, but it's a scroll with something from Deuteronomy, either the 10 Commandments or love the Lord your God or something like that, but basically a Bible verse in a scroll, and they put it in the little tube in the mezuzah on the door. And then some Jewish people wear necklaces that have Bible verses. I also heard that Jews were one of the first people to start doing tattoos. You have to look into this for yourself. I haven't ever talked about this, but I watched a documentary on tattooing, And Jewish people, Israelites, were some of the first people to start doing tattoos. One of the oldest people to do tattoos. And they would tattoo scripture on their hand, and then they would wear tattoo scriptures on their chest, or they would wear necklaces with parts of scripture in the necklace, because they take this and then and put it as a doorpost on your door. They take this literal, as in you should have scripture on your hand, your heart, and your doorpost. I don't even believe in chariots. I'm not going to go into depth of explaining all this to you guys, but just you can take my word for it, or you can just look it up yourself, look into it. It's just interesting how they do that. You shall possess, where was I? Frontlets between your eyes. That's what I wanted to see. What does frontlets between your eyes mean? Like glasses? Refers to a biblical concept, specifically from the Torah, where the Israelites were instructed to bind God's commandment as a sign to their hands and as frontlets between their eyes, essentially keeping the law consistently in view. Meaning, bind them as a sign. Metaphor, meaning the Israelites should keep God's commandment constantly in their mind and on their minds, and to make them a part of their daily lives. Yeah, that's what seems more metaphorically to me. Bind it in your hands, meaning the work you do with your hands throughout your day should always be for God. And then a frontlet before your eyes, meaning it should always be at the front of your mind. Okay, they're called phylacteries. Phylacteries are small leather boxes containing Hebrew texts from the Torah, which are traditionally worn by observant Jewish men during weekday morning prayers. Literal interpretation. After the Israelites returned from Babylon, some began to interpret this injunction literally, resulting in the practice of wearing phylacteries or tefillin. Frontlets in the Torah. The message where the phrase appears instructed is blah, blah, emphasizing concepts of frontlets can be understood as a reminder to keep God's commandment and live according to them. So, what are tefillin? Yeah, I've seen these before. So this is tefillin. Does it have a picture of somebody wearing one? This is tefillin or phylacteries. These boxes, these things. So it's like a belt with a box with scripture inside of it, and you'd wrap it around you. See tefillin tattoo? So see, bind it to your hand. Hold on one second. Hold on one second, guys. Hello? All right. Sorry about that. Don't worry about that. There's a great documentary out there on the chariots and boat they found in the mud and reconstructed it. A fishing boat from those times. Drumming videos. I don't even believe in chariots. Okay, hold on. Where was I? So this is a Teflon box. And then this is a Teflon tattoo. These are phylacteries. So when it says bind your hand, and so this box with the belt, you wrap the belt around your hand, up your arm, and then you strap the belt to your arm. And so Jewish people really wear these. Teflon are small black leather boxes that are strapped to the arm and to the head. And they also strap them around their head. So you put one on your forehead. So you got this box on your forehead. And you strap one on your arm. So they're taking this Deuteronomy 6:4-9 literally. And they put the one on the head is Teflon Shel Rosh. The one on the arm is Teflon Shel Yad. The arm has a single compartment, which is placed a single scroll containing the 4 Torah passages that refer to this mitzvah. Exodus 13:1-10, Exodus 13:11-16, Deuteronomy 6:4-9, and Deuteronomy 11:13-21. The box of Teflon Shel Rosh has 4 separate compartments formed from a piece of leather. Each of the 4 biblical sections is written on a separate scroll and placed in its own individual compartment. Scrolls of the Torah verses must be written on to keep kosher. They must be written on parchment with ink bound by the hair of a kosher animal wrapped in a strip of cloth. The black boxes made from the hides of kosher animals and their stitches sewn with the sinew of a kosher animal must be perfectly square with an opening made from the straps. Must have a leather shin embossed on both right and sides. The straps must be colored black. The common translation of Teflon is phylacteries, which is a Greek word meaning amulet. So that's the Teflon. But some people just get it as a tattoo. And this is what I was talking about, how Israel was one of the first places to start doing tattoos. This is a real Teflon. Somebody's wearing it. Looks like he's going to cut off circulation to his arm. But then people will get it tattooed on him too. It's kind of a cool looking tattoo, to be honest. Like, that's kind of a gangster tattoo. If you're Jewish. I kind of like it. I wouldn't get one, but this is a rabbi. I kind of like that. I respect it. And then the mezuzah is on the door frames. It's the little thing on their door frames. And a lot of people don't know this, but inside of there's a scroll with those same scriptures on it because they put it on their door frames as well. Jewish treats. That's what it said. It said they called them Jewish treats. All right, let's finish this up. Sorry, I'm just thinking about that phone call. Don't worry about that phone call. It's none of y'all's business. Let me see. Thou shalt write them upon the doorposts of thine house and upon thy gates. Wait, where was I? Therefore, bind them for a sign on your hand, that ye may be as frontlets between your eyes, and ye shall teach them your children, speaking of them when thou sittest in thine house, and when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up. and thou shalt write them upon the doorposts of thine house and upon thy gates, that your days may be multiplied, and the days of your children, and the land which the Lord sware unto your fathers to give them, as the days of heaven upon the earth. For ye shall diligently keep all these commandments, which I command you to do them, to love the Lord your God, to walk in all his ways, and to cleave unto him. Then will the Lord drive out all these nations from before you, and ye shall possess greater nations and mightier than yourselves. Every place whereon the soles of your feet shall tread shall be yours. From the wilderness and Lebanon, from the river Euphrates, even unto the uttermost sea shall your coast be. There shall no man be able to stand before you, for the Lord your God shall lay the fear of you and the dread of you upon all the land that ye shall tread upon, as he hath said unto you. Behold, I set before you this day a blessing and a curse. A blessing if ye obey the commandments of the Lord your God, which I command you this day, and a curse if ye will not obey the commandments of the Lord your God. But turn aside out of the way which I command you this day, to go after other gods which ye have not known. And it shall come to pass, when the Lord thy God hath brought thee in unto the land whither thou goest to possess it, that thou shalt put the blessing upon the Mount Gerizim, and the curse upon Mount Ebal. Are they not on the other side Jordan, by the way where the sun goeth down, in the land of the Canaanites, which dwell in the champaign, over against Gilgal, beside the plains of Moreh? For ye shall pass over Jordan, and go in to possess the land which the Lord your God hath given you, and ye shall possess it and dwell therein. And ye shall observe to do all the statutes and judgments which I set before you this day. And that's chapter 11. All right. Nice. We did it. We got a good chunk today. And it's not even noon yet, which means I can lay down and watch a little bit of this show. I started watching this show. Somebody was telling me to watch the show Severance. I think it was Mosman, and somebody else said it was a really good show. And I started watching it last night, but I was really, yesterday morning when I was going to bed. But I was really tired, and I only got like 30 minutes into the first episode, and I was falling asleep. And all I can say is I have no idea what's going on. Like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get into it. Yeah, it's a great show. It seems like something I'd like, because I like mind benders. I like mind bender movies. They're my favorite kind of movies. It's just, so far it hasn't grabbed me yet because it's too weird. Or it's not too weird. I have no idea what's going on. Like, are they going to clear up some of this stuff? Like, I have no idea what's happening in the first episode. It doesn't make any sense. Which I'm sure they'll clear up, but currently I was falling asleep in the first episode because I was tired and because I had no idea what was happening. Like, it don't make no sense. It takes a bit, but it's worth it. All right. I'll take your word for it and I'll keep watching it. But yeah, it's like, what? I have no idea what is happening. What is going on here? So since it's noon, I can probably watch an episode of that. And I've been watching every Sunday. They're coming out with new episodes of 1823. I didn't like it at first, or 1921, the one with Harrison Ford. I didn't like it at first. I loved 1823 in Yellowstone, but 1921, at first I didn't like it, but it's growing on me. But this second season, man, like, everything horrible that can happen happens. Nothing goes right. But I'm all caught up. They're only coming out with new episodes every Sunday, so I'm watching this Severance show. And I'm reading my other book, The Institute from Stephen King. I'm almost done with it. Pretty good. I'm marking all the points, and I'm going to do a book review when I'm done with it. And I'm marking all the pages where he slips in some liberal nonsense. It's not filled with it like some of his books are. but he slips in little hints throughout it, and I'm marking them all, and I'm going to show you the little jabs he takes throughout the book, little things he slips into there throughout the book, which is whack. I wish he wouldn't do that. Just write scary books, King. Stop telling me about your freaking politics. Not you, King. Stephen King. But anyway, guys, let me fix the title real quick. So we got 6 through... Jesus, what is that? I shouldn't say that. Is somebody throwing some... Oh, you know what it is? It's ice falling off the roof. It's been snowing for the last, Dude, it got warm and then it snowed last week. And then it warmed up and all the snow melted. And it was nice. I was walking outside in a tank top in the sun, walking Echo. And then last night and the night before, snowed all night. And now it's bright and sunny outside and the snow's all melting. So snow caves over the roof, and when the icicles break off, they smack into the window, and it keeps scaring me. Snowing. Yeah, it snowed. No, it didn't really snow last night. It snowed the night before all night long. And then last night, there was snow on the ground, and it was cold. So it wasn't really snowing last night, but the night before it snowed all night, and it was still dark and cloudy and cold last night. But now it's bright and sunny outside, and all the snow is going to be melted by tonight when I wake up. So 6 through 11. I want to put... I put more rebellion because I thought there was going to be another story of Israel rebelling, but it was actually just recapping. I'm going to put the Great Commandment because I think that was the main takeaway here. The Great Commandment. That's the name of today's episode. All right. Let me see if there's anybody to raid. JLR Investigates is apparently there's a shooting. There's an active shooter right now at the CIA headquarters. Interesting. The day after the JFK files dropped, there's a active shooter at the CIA right now. That's happening right now. Maybe I'll send you over to JLR. Yeah, I'll send you over to JLR. You can see what's up with that. Good read. Thank you. Thanks for the Bible reading, JL. It was awesome as always. 40 last night. Isn't it March? What the? Yeah, I know. Dude, Utah's weird. It might be sunny for a month, and we might get like a snowstorm in June. Yeah, that happens out here. Hey, you're welcome, guys. Thank you for hanging out and listening to my crazy rantings. I'm not a preacher, not a teacher, just a guy reading the Bible and hanging out. So thanks for hanging out. Go watch JLR Investigate, see what's up with this shooting. I'm going to go watch this Severance show and go to bed. So God bless, guys. Have a good one. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.